Winter didn't just bring cold, it brought predators closer.
When food grew scarce, hungry animals began to follow the same trails as people.
Wolves, lean and restless, pushed closer to any scent of meat and smoke.
Sometimes a starving cat crept from the timber, trading fear for one more chance at food.
Horses, dogs, and meat stores made winter camps magnets for desperate hunters.
Every spilled drop of blood wrote a message on the snow. Food was here.
Elders told stories of past winters when beasts tested the edges of the camp.
They remembered, in paint and in words, each time predators came too close.
To a hungry pack, a camp meant warmth, noise, and the smell of life. Predators weighed the risk of fire and people against the pull of their empty bellies.
They taught the young that deep snow and hunger make wild things braver.
They kept meat off the ground, out of easy reach for prowling jaws. Still, the scent traveled far on frozen air. Camp layout itself became a shield, with valuables kept deep at the center.
Dogs served as early warning, ears and noses tuned to every crunch in the dark.
They often sensed a threat long before any human heard it.
People answered by walking the edges, reading the snow like a story. New tracks near the walls meant the night would not be entirely peaceful. Sometimes, the sight and sound of the camp alone were enough to turn them away.
A cat watched longer and closer, waiting for a single mistake.
They lured scavengers away with offerings placed far from their sleeping place.
Better to feed desperate scavengers out there than have them circling the lodges.
They mapped their defenses in the dirt, so even children could see the pattern.
They trained to answer a charge if predators ever came in too close.
To wolves, smoke and fat were signals worth following through bitter cold. Predators learned the same paths that hunters and animals shared.
When the weather turned bad, they pulled their most tempting scents tight inside the ring.
Small flames at the boundary reminded prowlers that this snow was defended.
Old stories marked moments when predators nearly crossed the line.
Horses were wealth, and that made them targets. They answered by bringing the valuable life closer to the heart of the village.
Winter squeezed the wild until even fear began to crack.
People met that desperation with light, sound, and a clear line they would not let be crossed. Most nights, even the hungriest predator chose the dark over a wall of fire and voices.
Still, their marks reminded the Lakota that they were never alone on the winter plains.
Morning patrol told the story of who had come close while the village slept. Birds and scavengers often arrived first, announcing to hidden predators that there was something to find.
They learned that whatever they left behind could call hungry mouths to their door.
Eyes were always turned outward, even when the camp seemed quiet.
Sometimes the cats decided that fire, dogs, and numbers were too much for one stomach to challenge.
They tried to keep all their living wealth inside one strong circle of heat and watchfulness.
Light was placed where shadows gathered thickest.
He looked for the twin sparks in the dark that meant something was watching back. Snow hid yesterday's danger, but they never assumed it had gone away.
They did not hate the wolves, they understood. They walked the same hungry lands.
Many nights, both people and predators chose caution, not confrontation. They studied their four-legged neighbors the way others studied weather. From prints alone, they could tell if a pack was strong, weak, or desperate.
Sometimes they simply observed, letting hunger and distance make the decisions.
Before each storm, they pulled their listeners and barkers in closer. Predators and people walked the same world, their stories drawn over each other in white. Songs and ceremony continued, even with watching eyes at the edge of sound.
Their senses knew exactly where the camp was, but so did their instincts about risk.
They shared the land without needing to meet fang to spear every day.
The rare battles were remembered, but so were the many silent nights without them.
Their sleeping arrangements themselves reflected the line between inside safety and outside risk.
Around their warm circle, other circles moved, packs and lone hunters following their own laws.
Preparation repeated, storm after storm, predator season after predator season.
Most nights, the balance held. The camp was watched, but not touched.
He knew that winter tested every living thing, from the smallest bird to the largest camp.
Their survival lay in listening, planning, and never forgetting the hungry eyes in the dark. The howls were reminders, not just threats, signs that the old balance still lived. That is how native camps outlasted winter predators, by respecting them, outthinking them,